The time for silence is over. For almost 20 years now, Youth Mentoring Connection has been helping young people in Los Angeles find their gifts and heal from deep wounds caused by institutional racism, letting our work speak for itself and leaving others, for the most part, to be the vocal advocates for changing this system that has caused so much pain for these young people that we love. No longer. It's time that we raise our voices in this fight for racial justice. Today, I'm proud to stand with Black Lives Matter and with my YMC brother, Quentin, a strong, proud, passionate man who knows the pain and the struggle, who's been deeply wounded by these same forces and has found his voice and his big, compassionate heart. I don't actually know what Q is about to say, but I step aside and trust him to speak for all of us at YMC.
For far too long, we've seen Black bodies murdered in this country at the hands of those who swore an oath to serve and protect those very lives that seem to constantly be taken away from us. You see, what happened to George Floyd has happened to countless African American men and women in this country, both on camera and off camera. And time again, we've seen little to no justice served at all. So on behalf of not only YMC, but the Black community, I'd like to say enough is a damn enough. We will never sit back and be silent about killer cops who misuse their authority and power mainly towards individuals with the same skin complexion as mine. So we firmly stand with those who are taking full advantage of their First Amendment rights by peacefully protesting and making their voices heard during this trying time in American history. So as a Black man, I'm beyond angry, saddened, frustrated, and quite honestly disgusted by what's been on display in this country. I find myself, though, at times extremely discouraged when I think about the fact that my grandfather and my great-grandfather both had to fight for not just civil rights, but human rights. And here we are in the year 2020, still fighting for those exact same rights as a people.
The time is now to end your silence. Speak up and let your voice be heard.
The time is now
to build a system that is for us.
The time is now to stand with your brothers and sisters in their pain and say, no more.
The time is now to shine a light on the injustices and use our anger to propel us into action.
The time is now, especially if you look like me, to listen and to be okay with being uncomfortable.
The time is now to put prejudice in our rearview mirrors forever.
The time is now for a fierce love that demands justice.
The time is now, as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has said, to realize that racism in America is like dust in the air. It seems invisible, even if you're choking on it, until you let the sun in. Then you see it's everywhere.
The time is now for our voices to be heard, to break silence, to fight for justice, and for Black lives to really matter. We must continue to stand until we are heard. Black Lives Matter.
See, we witnessed 3 officers kneel and press their knees into a Black man's body while he pleaded for his life for more than 8 minutes until he eventually stopped breathing. All the while, another officer stood there like a coward and watched the whole entire thing happen without interjecting not one time. So when you hear us yelling and screaming that Black Lives Matter, it is not because we feel as though others don't. It's simply because Black lives in this country seem to be valued far less than those of another skin complexion. So the time is now to fearlessly make our voices heard, stand in solidarity as a human race, and hold every single cop accountable in this country when they misuse their authority and their power. Peace and love.